Hey guys, Nicole Cooper here, embracing my inner Nubian princess look. How are you guys? I want to spend a few moments. Had a great conversation with a friend this morning, and I wanted to just kind of highlight some things that he and I discussed that I feel are so important for many of you who are in this journey of seeking, right? Seeking, searching, wondering, pursuing, desiring, so many different stages of life that many of us are in, right? And so I want to talk to you this morning about the fact that why clarity is so important. And I only have like a few minutes. I got to get to the salon. But I want to talk to you guys about why clarity is important in your journey to success. Hey, Anthony, so you know you inspired this video, right? So we were talking about just making decisions in directions in which we want to go in, right? And a lot of times we make decisions based on opportunities that are presented to us, but not because we have clarity, right? And so a lot of times what tends to happen is, good morning, Latoya. A lot of times what tends to happen is we begin to take on opportunities because they're presented to us, but oftentimes they don't align with who we really are. And so whether we succeed at them or not, we never really get fulfillment, okay? Fulfillment. So we never really experience a level of fulfillment in a way where we can truly embrace that journey. Hey, Jamar, where we can truly embrace that journey and win. And a lot of us, guys, listen, many of you are struggling. You feel like you're dog pedaling in the ocean on the brink of drowning because you have put yourself in a position where you're doing something that's not in alignment with who you are, and you're trying to become someone else in order to win. You're confused. You're looking at other people trying to see if you should replicate what they're doing in order for your success to happen. And it creates a lack of confidence. It creates the inability to have a vision. And it also puts you in position where you then begin to feel less than or incapable of succeeding. All right. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Angela. And so I want to talk to you guys about the importance of clarity. And I'm going to share my own personal story, my own personal journey of why I took a decision, why I've made this decision multiple times, but why I made a decision this year to really cut some things off, right? Cut some things off. Because here's the deal. A lot of us are chasing something called success, but we're not understanding that fulfillment is what success really is, right? Fulfillment meaning that I know exactly where I am. I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I feel so in alignment that I would do this in my sleep, right? Most of us are being force fed in environments that we can thrive in. We can pretend, we can even get some results, and we can start trying to sell it to other people, but there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect. See, many of us don't understand. Hey, Mike, what's up? Good to see you, Midget. Many of us don't understand that if you are not in alignment with your assignment, no matter how much you try to pretend, you will fail, right? You will fail. Now, it doesn't mean you'll fail financially. It doesn't mean you'll fail at the appearance of success, but you will fail in your inner being to be fulfilled. Let me give you an example. A year ago, 2 years ago, right? 2 or 3 years ago. Hey, Candy. 2 or 3 years ago, I was in a position where I was the second highest earning female in a company, okay? I was good at what I did. I was on stages all over the country. I had a following all over the world. I was making ridiculous amounts of money. But let me tell you, I was miserable. I was depressed. I was not myself. I was isolated. I was unhappy. I can't even tell you all the feelings that I had. And I couldn't figure it out. I thought I was ungrateful. I thought I was stupid. I thought I thought something was wrong with me, because you're in the ideal situation, but you're running away from it. And what happened is I began to isolate myself. I began to hide. I would be crying alone like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? I had the best situation possible, but I couldn't run any further because I didn't have the desire to. I didn't want to talk to people because I didn't have the desire to. It got to the point where I was sabotaging my own success because I did not have the desire to go any further than where I was, because I felt like I was a fraud, right? I felt like I was a fraud. Let me tell you, I made the money. That's not the seat. And that's the thing. Most of us feel like money is the answer to success. It's not. There's a lot of people committing suicide that are freaking billionaires, millionaires, multi-successful individuals. Multi-millionaire individuals who hate their lives because of the assumption of what they thought they wanted versus the reality of how they feel about what they accomplished. And so I made a decision and I said, okay, something is wrong with me. And I started thinking it was my medical condition. I started trying to find a reason. Why am I depressed? Why am I miserable? Why am I unhappy? Why do I feel this way? Like, God, am I rejecting you? Am I disappointing you? Like, what is this disassociation with where I am versus where I thought I was supposed to be, right? So I made a decision to step away. I slowly stepped away. I made all the phone calls and I said, hey, you know what? I feel led to go in a different direction and I want to just remove myself, right? I did it. I've done that a million times. So I did it. And, a lot of people tried to talk me out of it. Why would you do that? You should stay here. You're great. You're good at this. This is what you were born to do, right? This is the kind of stuff that people tell you. And if you don't know any better, you'll say, you know what? You're right. Let me stay. But I was like, nah. In my spirit, something is disconnected. I can't put my finger on it. I don't understand it. It's not about the money for me. I got to figure out what it is. Cool. I left that path and I started on a different journey, right? And as I started on this different journey, the difference was I didn't have an audience to support me, right? So I began to get a little lonely. I began to get a little concerned because the calls stopped. The opportunity to collaborate with tons of other people stopped. It was just me and God, and I had to figure this journey out. I had to start figuring out, all right, what path do I take? Like, I know I'm supposed to be doing something else, but what does this look like? And where do I start? And how do I get there? What steps should I take? And then the fear set in, right? The fear set in. So as the fear began to set in, what happened was the subconscious mind and the things that I had assumed and developed over the years were what it was supposed to look like. My path of what I was aligned to do versus the path that I was taught I was supposed to do, they started to get blurred. I didn't know, okay, God, am I supposed to be over here? Or no, I'm stupid. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I need to go back over here, right? There was this big confusion because now the lines were getting blurred of assignment versus assumption. All right. There was a confusion between assignment and assumption. I assumed that the journey to success was here, but I knew my assignment was in the opposite direction and I had to go in a different place. But the assignment and the assumption started merging together because my subconscious thinking told me that, no, this is what you are good at. This is where you should go back to. So guess what? I spent a year in the wilderness by myself, and then I came back and said, let me go back to what I'm good at. Right? And I made a decision and I came back to what I was good at. And guess what? Got into that as well, made a hell of a lot of money really fast, did extremely well on a ton of different platforms again. And guess what? The same experiences, the same emotions, the same feelings came back. Depression, misery, unhappiness, disassociation and disconnection to the outcome of what I was living, the desire to retreat and become an introvert and separate myself from the people, and the need to try to figure out, why am I in this place again of unhappiness when I'm at the pinnacle of success? You see, when you learn how to win in life, y'all, when you learn that there's skills and there's a formula to success, you can easily get back to it, right? That I think we're so disconnected from the fact that it's not about the creation of what looks like success, but it's about the commitment to the process of fulfillment, right? So I was good at creating success. Listen, I always say I can sell hot dogs and be successful. I can sell smoothies on the corner and be successful. It's a lot of stuff that I can do, but it wasn't the creation of success that I needed. It was the position of fulfillment that I needed, right? So I ended back up in this place, made a hell of a lot of money again in a short period of time, had a lot of success, flying up to the top of the charts. And next thing you know, bam, again, it hits me. Depression, misery, unhappiness, unfulfillment, disconnection, disassociation. I was just like, I'm here again. I'm miserable again. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, what is happening? Why am I constantly in this place and in this repetitious, vicious cycle of, it's almost like, and I say it all the time, it's almost like being addicted to an abusive relationship, right? It's being addicted to something that you know really doesn't, and it doesn't, I know that's a bit extreme, but it's something that you think you really need and something that you really feel you want, but it's something that can often pull you so far away of where you're supposed to be that you get addicted to it, going back to it, although it can cause you harm and pain, right? I know that may seem extreme to you guys, but what I want you to understand is the difference between assignment and assumption. I was at this place of assuming I needed this thing. I was at this place of assuming this was the only way that I can win. I was at this place of assuming that if I didn't do this or if I didn't go this way, that I would be alone and miserable and I would be a failure and I couldn't do it on my own. And so I kept going back to that thing. I kept going back to that thing. I kept going back to that thing. And it got to a place where I was so unfreaking happy, but I was making a hell of a lot of money and I was confused. I was so confused. I'm like, okay, everything I keep thinking that I want is here, but guess what? I got everything I wanted, but I wasn't positioning myself to get what I needed, right? There's a difference between what you want and there's a difference between what you need. You see, what I thought I wanted was the image of what looked like success, but what I really needed was to be in alignment with my assignment, fully positioned for what God had ordained me to do, that gave me such an opportunity to release everything about me into his hands, that he would order my steps and I wouldn't have to force stuff to happen. But what happened? I wanted something that I had to keep forcing to make happen. So what happened is I would get in this position, I would make stuff happen, but guess who had to keep it going? I had to keep it going. So all this pressure